Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Uncharted 1 on Brutal Difficulty. This is Chapter 13, Sanctuary? So this is probably what I would consider to perhaps be the hardest chapter in the game. There are two fights in this chapter that are both reasonably challenging, as well as a couple of luck-based sequences throughout. The first was opening that door. First time I got there, just like with Chapter 4, I instantly died the moment I kicked open that door, so you're gonna need to perhaps get a bit of a lucky moment there in order to get back. But otherwise, this first sequence, not too hard. It's really just opening that door that's the hardest part, and then getting behind some cover and then being able to shoot everyone else as you go through. But this chapter is going to introduce a lot of new things that you're going to need to keep track of for the rest of the game. The first is that they're going to be laser pointer dudes, and let me tell you something. The guys that shoot at you with their laser pointer D-Eagles or the sniper rifle dudes, they are the biggest wimps on this difficulty, and the biggest reason for that is the fact that it takes them a couple seconds in order to actually lock onto you before they can actually shoot at you, and it's a lot longer for them to shoot you than it takes for most other normal enemies to instantly murk you with just standard AK-47s or whatever weapon they happen to be using. So they turn out to be some of the easiest normal enemies that you can come across, and they're typically pretty low on the threat level compared to everybody else, which is nice. I'll take anything I can get in this difficulty. But as you come up these stairs, you're going to have a dude that's right in front of you, and you can shoot him down pretty well. There's going to be another dude over here to the left, over nearby where I'm aiming right now, who comes out. I think he's a laser pointer dude, so you might have a couple seconds to get him. But after you nail both those two dudes, you can throw a grenade. Jeez, I'm just like really fumbling over my words today. You can throw grenades over towards them in order to take them out, and it's not really that bad of a fight. They don't tend to rush you super hard. You can take them out as they come over to you. Of course, my blind fire is really bad, and I end up hitting the rocks really hard. But I think that guy's a laser pointer dude, so I think I'm just going to run here and yeah! Take another shot. But the D-Eagle in this game, I really wish it was better, because I believe it is a two-shot kill if you hit them in the chest, which is a darn shame. I mean, this thing should be a one-shot kill similar to the Magnum. I mean, you barely get any ammo for this thing, and I think this thing is weaker than the West 44, I think. So, I just wish it was better. It's very underwhelming. But here we go, the M92 FS. I think I passed over it. No, Chris, go back! You need that pistol! No! Oh man, that's so rough. But the M92 FS is a really, really, really good pistol. I really like it. It's probably my favorite sidearm in the game. Obviously, besides the Magnum, of course. Just because of the fact that whenever you pick up an M92 FS, you get a lot of bullets in it. And on Brutal Difficulty, ammo is more valuable, I'd say, than the actual power of the weapon, unless it's a one-shot. But look at that. Like, I'm just missing like crazy with this thing. And I've got no bullets. Even though this is only a slight skirmish, these moments are definitely the most stressful in the entire game because I have to run out and go grab some ammo.
Okay.
So I'm up against two laser pointer dudes, and I know because of the fact that they're big wimps, I can shoot them down really easily without having to worry. So I'm just going to go out, just smack this dude in the face, and here I'm just like, oh my god, there's a laser pointer dude, I'm going to die so hard. Let's get into cover. And here's where I get the bright idea. Well, I punched out that first guy. Maybe I can punch out this second dude. So I try popping out, see if I can get a shot off in him, and then I'm just going to run up to him, give him a nice good old smack in the face. Take another shot. But once again, I'm in a very bad scenario. I have very little to no ammo. I got a bunch of grenades, and there's going to be a really, really big firefight in just a couple moments. So I run over here, grab this pistol, and this is basically... How did I not pick that up? It just kind of materialized in my inventory. Oh well. But as soon as you enter into this courtyard, you're going to get a checkpoint. And this isn't the hard fight of the chapter. It's the one in front of the church. But there's going to be a line of dialogue. You heard it right there. That's when all the enemies spawn. I like to stick over here to the left side, take out that dude that's over there in the balcony because he's really good at shooting you out for some reason. Same thing with the dude that's over here on this balcony here. Now once both those enemies are dead, I'm going to focus over on the left side of this little hallway here, and there are going to be a couple of guys that come down this way. So you need to take care of them as soon as possible. Now technically speaking, it is possible if you have really, really good aim and insane reflexes to go up the staircase that's right there to my left. And go up those stairs. The problem with this is the fact that there are going to be, I think, 3 or 4 enemies that all spawn from there, and they are all on top of you. So you have to throw a couple of cheeky grenades if you want to kill all of them really, really quick. And that's really difficult to do when they all murk you in half a second. Less than that even. So I opt for the more safe approach and just kill everyone before trying to go up those stairs. Because if you kill everyone before going up those stairs, they come down automatically on their own. So I'm just going to bide my time, kill all the enemies, and make sure it's safe before I make any moves whatsoever. Because you go a long time in this firefight without hitting a checkpoint, and any mistake will put you all the way back to the start before we actually came into this courtyard. So I'm hearing those shotgun blasts coming over from the left. I'm like, okay, so all the guys are spawning now. So I'm going to throw a couple of grenades to see if I can get a few of them. Of course, I fail pretty damn hard because I always fail my first grenade toss in any given fight. So, you know, got to keep that tradition up. So once again, just biding time, dividing and conquering, using our cover trick in order to make sure that we don't get shot very bad by any enemies. But the hardest part of this level is actually right at the end. And you'll see it in just a moment. Because there's going to be a dude that likes to stick around at the top of this staircase here. We kill him and his buddy pretty soon. Don't have a lot of bullets, so I'm trying my damnedest to make sure that I don't waste bullets. Playing golf with my shots, so I've got no ammo besides these couple assault rounds. So I'm going to come up here. There's a dude that's going to spawn immediately coming up from down those stairs. So once he comes up, just wait and shoot him. And that's the end of the fight. How easy did that look? I assure you, probably wasn't that easy. Now, I would go around and pick up another M92FS, but I was still kind of bummed out from being there for like a good 20-30 minutes that I was just like, nah, you know what? I'm just going to move on. Probably wasn't the best decision because I really could have used some more ammo, especially for my assault rifle, but I learned to live with it. We get past this chapter, so it's all fine. I think we actually do pick up a pistol at some point. I think they drop one, actually, when you're supposed to get Elena over there because she has absolutely no climbing abilities whatsoever until the second game. Oh, never mind. I do pick up a nice, lovely sidearm. Alright, that's fine. But here I'm just kind of wandering around because I admittedly forget where to go sometimes in this game, but it wasn't all that bad. I was just like, where do I go? I was like, oh, right, yeah. You just got to come over here to the left, drop down, and there are going to be a couple of barrels that you have to shoot in front of a door in order to let Elena in. So from here, we're just going to come over here, and I'm not sure what exactly you have to do for this. I just kind of open up this switch because Elena's supposed to be like, here, yeah, I'll make sure you can get underneath that door all hunky-dory, and Nathan's just like, huh, thanks. Times like this, I wish games had a fast-forward button because Elena sure is taking her nice sweet time getting over there. But this is the really hard part of the chapter. I would consider this to probably be the hardest firefight in the game. A couple of other contenders would probably be the same courtyard fight in Chapter 20. But there are a couple of really nasty ones. But this is probably what I would consider to be the hardest fight in the game. Mainly because you start out in a really, really bad spot with no cover, and you have to kill a lot of dudes very quickly, otherwise they will kill you very quickly. So I pick up the sniper rifle all the way at the start, and I kill those two snipers. Then I slowly but surely roll around at the speed of sound in order to get into cover and make my way into this center fountain. For some reason, whenever I stuck myself in the middle of this fountain, they never tried to come over to me. Don't ask me why, but this was the lucky run that actually made it. So from here I'm going to bide my time and wait for them to come all the way around, because they generally tend to put themselves in front of the church that we're supposed to go into a bit later. So I'm just going to stay up here and shoot everyone. You've also got a lot of dudes as well, so if they try to come around over here to the left side, they're going to flank you super hard, and that's the biggest reason why this fight is so hard, is because there's very few points where you can cut off all access of entry, and if anyone decides to flank you, you're basically dead. Like, there's a staircase over to my left that's now behind me. If anybody came up that staircase, I'd be dead, and I would not know where they were. But, again, this is the lucky run that made it through, so once again, you kind of just have to do this a few times and hope that somebody just doesn't come up and ruin your day. Or just instantly murks you before you can do anything. Like, right now, like, I could have gotten shot at least maybe 40 times before that dude got me that one time, so you got me there on why I didn't just magically get murdered. But I'm listening to the music right now, and it's like, alright, I'm not hearing anybody, I'm not seeing anyone, so now is probably my time to move up. And I see those two dudes coming out in front of the church. So I was like, alright, Now we gotta start cleaning up house, because this is the second half of the fight. And I'm not too sure where the checkpoint is, because I did all of this in one take, but I don't believe there's a checkpoint. I might have to go back and check it out, just in case. But after I kill those enemies, now's the time for me to make my move. So I go between cover pieces, and I make my way all the way up the stairs. This probably isn't the best spot to be in, because of the fact that there are still a number of different ways that you can get flanked. But once you get up here to this upper position, you're generally safe, or at the very least, you're safer, because there's only one way that they can come up, which is up the stairs that we just rolled up beforehand. So there are going to be a couple of China Lake dudes that all start trying to fire at you, and this is actually the easier part of the fight, because the China Lake dudes, wimps. You can very easily get rid of them before they even have a remote chance of getting up to you. And generally speaking, you can tell them apart because they have stupid, dumb, funky fisherman straw hats. Like that guy. And look at that. Who does that? And normally, unless the grenade hits you dead center, you really don't have to worry about dying to them too often, even though I say this as I'm in critical. But we nail him, and I'm just sitting here being patient, biding my time, and I pick up a dude's China Lake, but I think all the enemies are dead at this point, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm not hearing anyone, I'm listening to the music a bit, but oh, there was a dude there. And that's the end of the fight. You know the fight is over for certain when Elena says something like, we need to get into the church, but we're not going to get in through the front way, or something like that. So if you're wondering for certain at what point the fight is over, just wait for that little, oh, it's a library. I'm sorry, not a church. The church is over on the opposite side because we go there in a later chapter. My bad.
Scope things out.
But that's still what I would say to probably be the hardest firefight in the game. Any other firefight in the game that you get to is going to be silly, but it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as that firefight we just did. And even though I wasn't stuck there for as long as I thought I would be, I still consider that to be more challenging than anything else. Because some of the other firefights we've done so far, like that gate open sequence in Chapter 4 and the opening firefight in Chapter 6, those fights I found were more annoying than actually challenging because you're kind of stuck out in the middle of nowhere with absolutely nowhere to be. This is what I would consider to be the hardest one. But you're not actually supposed to open up these library doors through the front door. You're supposed to come over here to the side entrance. But this next fight that we're about to head into is also not that bad. It's all just a matter of getting rid of the guys up on the upper floors a lot faster than you would probably hope to get. So I come over here to the left side. I used to come over to the right side and try to kill all the enemies that way, but I realized that I got myself killed a lot of the time trying to do that. So I tried coming over here to the left side and seeing if that would work, and I got it first try, so that's kind of the moral of the story, is experimentation, seeing if you can get different things to work. So I come over here, take out all the grenade launcher dudes, and there's one other dude all the way on the other side, over on the right. You can probably see him in the preview. There you go. Come on, Chris. You can get him. But once you kill all the enemies up in the upper floors, this fight becomes a lot easier. From here, all you need to do is basically just look down into the bottom floor and shoot everyone. Fortunately, because most of them have laser pointers, you can actually just take your time and aim your shots really well, because you're not going to be in their line of sight long enough for them to shoot you. At the very least, I hope you're not in their line of sight long enough for them to shoot you, if you've gotten up this far. But there should only be about 3 or 4 enemies left to take care of, and then after that, it's all hunky-dory, and then from there we just have to do a quick puzzle. I say quick, but this puzzle always makes me take like 9 years every time I do it. But that's alright. So there's one dude left, I believe. Oh no, I'm sorry, there's 2. Come on, I see your laser pointer. We can do it. Let's go. Is that Elena? I can't tell. But I do not recommend jumping down at any point in the middle of this fight, because you will die if you do that. At the very least, you'll be in a really, really bad spot. Come on, Chris. Come on. You're being a terrible shot. Alright. But at least it's no question as to when the fight ends, because the game is just like, oh, you're done with the fight. We're just going to fade to black and skip all that nonsense. Which is good. I wish more fights in the game did that, but I suppose cutscenes take a larger precedence over gameplay than this. I always forget the solution to this puzzle, so I end up looking in my book about 30 times in order to figure out what I'm supposed to do. But these puzzles always make me think that I have not played a very good point-and-click adventure game in a long time. I think the last puzzle-centric game that I played was the remake that was made for Shadowgate. And I think Shadowgate is a really good remake, if solely because of the fact that the biggest thing that I liked about Shadowgate was the fact that it was a game that had a lot of puzzles that were not quite obvious, but at the same time they weren't fridge logic-y like they get in Uninvited and Deja Vu. Like, oh my gosh, those puzzles just get really stupid. But Shadowgate does, the original version of Shadowgate at least, still had its fair share of puzzles that weren't exactly the best. But for this puzzle, you just have to turn all of the statues to a direction relative to what the journal says. So north isn't actually north, it's north that's relative to the compass that's over on the floor. This was actually a puzzle that actually stumped me for a while as well, because, or at least on my first playthrough, because I didn't realize that it was relative to the compass. I was just like, oh, okay, I have to turn them relative to the statue direction. It's like, nah, Chris, that's not how it works. You're a big idiot. But that's okay. We solve it eventually.
Bingo.
So what's our reward for solving a nice expositional puzzle? Another expositional puzzle. Yay! But this is another moment of the game where, like, it is so dark on my monitor. Like, I can barely see anything in this room when I was actually playing the game. But here in the preview window that I have over on Adobe Premiere, it's like, oh man, it's so bright. I can see everything in here. So you're going to see me run around slightly like an idiot, not knowing where to go, because I'm waiting for the game to prompt me with like a, yo, idiot, go here sort of thing. Or at the very least until the game is like, hey, there's a bunch of dialogue going on, so you should probably check that out.
The inverted torch leads to the land of the dead.
So here I'm just kind of like fumbling around like an idiot in the darkness, even though it's not actually dark, as you can see from the video footage. But we open up these two switches here, and we open up the door. And with that, that's the end of Chapter 13. I'll see you guys next time for when we do Chapter 4. So I wish you all a good day, and God bless.